Welcome to BDSM, bloody, dreadful, shite, movies.
This is Chris.
Hello there.
And some people say he has questionable taste in movies, so he's on a mission to find out if that's true, by seeing if he can find any pleasure by watching the most painfully bad movies he can find. He'll be scoring each movie based on 5 categories. 1. Did he find it entertaining in any way? 2. Did it have a good story idea? 3. Was it boring? 4. Will he ever watch it again? 5. Would he recommend anyone else to watch it?
Moon River. Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
Breathe easy.
Hello and welcome back to the BDSM Cinematic Dungeon. I hope you're all well. So, I'm starting my journey back in time before the MCU was a glint in Disney's bank balance to watch the 70s, 80s and 90s Marvel movies. I'm starting with 2 Nicholas Hammond Spiderman TV movies. So, I'll be reviewing each one and then judging which one is the best cinematic treat out of the 2. So, I'm starting with 1978's Spider-Man Strikes Back. It has a rating of 4.9 out of 10 on IMDb and a runtime of an hour and a half. It stars Nicholas Hammond, Joanne Cameron, who also starred in 2 other superhero TV shows, The Secrets of Isis and Shazam. Spider-Man Strikes Back is written by Stan Lee and directed by Ron Satloff, who's involved in some classic TV shows.
Jake and the Fatman, Perry Mason, The A-Team, Dynasty, Magnum P.I., From Here to Eternity, The Dukes of Hazzard, Barnaby Jones, Hawaii Five-0, The Love Boat, to name but a few.
The plot, according to IMDb, is...
Spider-Man swings to the rescue when a nuclear bomb created by 3 college students falls into criminal hands.
Ooh, that sounds like your average 70s TV plot, and has reviews like this.
Kenneth writes, "Made-for-TV superhero movie sucks. I am sorry, but this movie was worse than the first one. How can you have a superhero movie without a supervillain? Where is the web-slinging? Why does he need transportation to get around? A helicopter to go the roof of a building. With a low budget and boring storyline, this movie is not even worth a rental. Hammond is too old to play Peter Parker, and where is Mary Jane and Betty Brant? How is it that the Spider-Man in the comics can take on Dr. Octopus? But in this made-for-TV movie, he gets his ass kicked by 2 thugs. My children of 15, 11 and 8 saw this movie and threatened to call Child Protective Services for being cruel for making them watch this joke of a movie. Please, and I do mean please, I am asking all network media bosses only for one thing. If you're going to make a superhero movie for TV, make sure that you stick to the original idea of the comic and make sure that the superhero has a supervillain to fight with."
I don't think he's... I don't think he's too impressed with that one. Next.
McFrog writes, "Not amazing, just entertaining. Spider-Man Strikes Back is nowhere near as good as the movies in Sam Raimi's excellent trilogy. But it's still pretty darn enjoyable. It doesn't have a lot in common with the comic books, but neither did the Hulk series from the 70s, and that one is considered one of the best shows based on a Marvel comic book. Nicholas Hammond is good as Peter Parker. The hair is hilarious, though. The 70s was a tacky decade. And aside from the visible web shooter and belt, the suit doesn't look any worse than Christopher Reeve's Superman outfit. J. Jonah Jameson is very funny, and the fight scenes and stunts are exciting to watch. I felt more dizzy watching this than any of the scenes in the new ones. I can't remember anything offensive in it. The fight scenes are bloodless. And there's no nudity except for some ladies in bikinis. If you have small kids, it's probably better to show them this than the scary movies in the Raimi trilogy."
Oh dear, McFoggy makes it sound more interesting, but I don't know if I'm going to be overly impressed, I don't know. So, let's grab some popcorn and get this over with.
He's back, and he's ready for the adventure that will be the greatest challenge to all his powers. No one can do what he can do when Spider-Man strikes back.
Wow! That has not aged well. I remember watching the TV show as a kid and really enjoying it, but it's so clunky. Spider-Man basically looks like a slightly overweight man wearing red and blue pyjamas, being held up with very visible wires. He walks around hunched forward with his arms open looking for a hug. I'm wondering, how strong is Spider-Man according to the Marvel Comics?
Spider-Man's strength and agility stand far above those of the average human, allowing him to lift nearly 10 tons and to leap and move at incredible speeds with high accuracy.
So why can't he beat up 2 average unarmed henchmen and a cut-price kingpin in a one after each other fist fight? Oh, right, let's get straight into the review, shall we? 1. Did I find it entertaining in any way? I have to admit, due to when Spider-Man Strikes Back was made, Spider-Man's powers are so clunky and made for some really amusing scenes. When he's out on patrol, it's just clips of him walking and climbing slowly over pipes on a roof. And he looks like an OAP with a bad hip. His spider sense is a still frame with like either a red filter to it, and it shows him exactly he's going to be jumped on by some henchmen. And then the next moment, he walks straight into the moment where he's getting jumped on by henchmen. He just jumps straight into ambushes straight away because of his spider sense. While most of the effects for web slinging and jumping up onto roofs is just shown in reverse. Oh dear. I'm going to give it a point. It was fairly amusing. 2. Did it have a good story idea? The story is just your average stop the bad guy plot. If you swap Spider-Man, let's say, with Steve McGarrett and Dano from Hawaii Five-0 or even TJ Hooker, would basically be the same. So, it doesn't get a point. 3. Was it boring? It's quite slow, because it's so badly paced, and if it was edited down to TV show length, it would have been probably less boring, so it doesn't get a point. 4. Will I ever watch it again? Probably not. It's not that great, so it doesn't get a point. 5. Would I recommend anybody else to watch it? I'm going to say no straight away. If you remember watching the Spider-Man TV show and you're a kid and really liking it, I'd say leave it in the memory. It is just a killer watching it now. It's just like, oh god, it's crap. It really hasn't aged well at all. So, it's not getting a point. With a score of 1 out of 5, Spider-Man Strikes Back is in the cinematic stink. Oh, with that bombshell, let's get into the next web-slinging adventures of Spider-Man in The Dragon's Challenge. It has a rating of 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb and has a runtime of 1 hour 32 minutes. It stars, again, Nicholas Hammond, Ted Danson for like 1/10 of a second, and Keiko O'Brien from DS9, the most hated woman in Star Trek. It's directed by Don McDougall, who's another classic TV director, did 70s and 80s TV shows, pretty much the same as The Lost Bloke. The plot, according to IMDb, is...
The Amazing Spider-Man goes to China to help a World War II official accused of treachery.
That doesn't tell me much. But I'm expecting some kung fu. Clunky kung fu. It has reviews like this.
Blaze, the action junkie, writes, This one really didn't get good until the final 8 minutes or so, and there are no moments here like how Spider-Man went swinging from a helicopter in Strikes Back. This flick may have the same average rating as Strikes Back, but I'd put it more along the same level as the pilot of the series, the first film in this trilogy. One thing this one does is it really takes most of the science fiction out of the series and grounds it in the Far East's world of martial arts. The Hong Kong set pieces might actually be the best part of the feature, as many of the fight sequences are over short and of a made-for-TV quality. We might have Spider-Man getting shot twice in this one, but it's only by dart guns, ironically. I think if this one had more martial arts, or more J. Jonah Jameson, or more heart and flavor similar to the first of the trilogy, I'd rate this one higher. But as is, I honestly think this was the worst of the trilogy by a small margin under the series pilot.
Matt Singer writes, had the guys who made the 1970s Spider-Man TV series ever even glanced in the direction of a comic before? Generic, interchangeable villains, little action, almost none of the classic Spider-Man supporting cast, and Nicholas Hammond, the actor who plays Peter Parker, looks older than depressed dad-bod Spidey from Into the Spider-Verse. Saying this two-parter turn cheapo feature is like watching paint dry is an insult to paint, which dries a lot faster and more efficiently than anything happens in this disaster.
Oh, what am I letting myself in for? I wonder if this cinematic masterpiece has any 10 out of 10 reviews.
Truman writes, fantastic ... in a way. While not as good as Spider-Man Strikes Back, 1978, this is amusing stuff, with some extremely cool fight scenes and painful sound effects. Nicholas Hammond finally gets a decent-ish haircut, and he goes to Japan to battle a couple of low-rent kung fu types. The theme tune is great, and Spidey himself is ridiculously funky. Go on, watch it. You know you want to.
I don't know if I trust that. So, let's grab some popcorn and a pot of Dulux paint and get it over with. Oh god, this was way more clunky and slower than Strikes Back. And again, Spider-Man has a hard time beating up unarmed henchmen in fistfights. So, I'm getting straight into this one. Right, 1. Did I find it entertaining in any way? I have to say no. Nothing of any interest happens until the last 10 minutes. And it's just really, really boring. So, I'm not giving it a point. Sod it. I'm just going to say Spider-Man, the Dragon's Challenge is in the stink. I can't go through with it. All in all, these 70s Spider-Man movies haven't aged well and are way more boring than I remember. And like I said before, I wish I left them as a fond memory, because this was absolutely shit. The most clunky fight scenes ever. So, please do not watch them. Don't go back in time, into your memories and think, oh, I'm going to watch them. Leave them as fond memories, totally. Next time, I'm continuing my journey into the not-so-MCU with the red-brown Captain America movies. What could possibly go wrong? Apart from me losing my sanity, I think. Oh, God. See you next time.
If you would like to join Chris on his painful mission, then come and join the BDSM Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/BDS movies. or you can contact the BDSM Dungeon by email bdsmpodmovie@gmail.com.
Free bagels.
If you want to force Chris into watching movie 43, you can donate at buymeacoffee.com/bloodydreadful.